Now that you have your evidence, your claim, your reasons, we are ready to dive into our body paragraphs and develop them further. So again, your reasons should be outlined already. You should have evidence pieces. You should hopefully have, again, your evidence and reason for each one done. Your opposing claim, evidence, reason one, evidence. Now we can dive into our explanations. Okay, so our explanations are important because this is where you elaborate and add details to the quotes that you used. Your reader may not understand the context of your quote, how it proves that topic, and why that information matters. You, as the writer, need to fill in those blanks. So I started off I stated a claim and a reason. The claim was animals do not deserve equal rights as humans. That's my claim. Because animal testing is necessary to save human lives. Okay? My quote says, according to the article, animals do not have equal rights. Vital life-saving cancer and HIV studies, for instance, depend on the use of live animals in order to prove the safety and efficacy of new medications. So once I'm looking at my evidence piece, the first thing that I should do is probably highlight main ideas or key details in the quote. This is going to help me focus on reflecting on the quote and focus on the main ideas mentioned there so that I can add some details. That way I can fill in some blanks that the reader might have. So just looking at this quote, your reader might look at vital life-saving studies and think, okay, these are studies that can save people's lives that are necessary. And then thinking about it, okay, these studies must depend on live animals. So that already answers my question of, okay, that means they have to be alive. It can't be anything that is not alive. And these studies prove, it shows me the effect, it proves the safety and efficacy of these new medications. It proves that these medications will work and that they're safe for humans. So I highlighted some key ideas, but that's not all we can do. We can't just restate the quote because that would be pointless. We have to add some information. So the second thing you're going to do is reflect on these ideas and details. Why are they important? How does it prove the reason that animal testing is necessary to save human lives? So if you're looking at your outline, I split it up into two parts. The first part says to discuss how it supports your BP1 reason. So whatever your quote is, how does this quote support this reason? How does this quote prove that animals are necessary, that animal testing is necessary to save human lives? Okay? So how does this quote prove the reason? The second part of your explanation would be, how does this quote and reason, how do these two prove your claim? How does it prove this? Which in this case, it's how does this quote and the fact that animal testing is necessary to save human lives, how does that prove that animals do not deserve equal rights as humans? So, looking again at the main ideas of the quote, why are these highlighted parts, why are they important? How does it prove that animal testing is necessary to save human lives? So I looked at first this beginning part, how it's vital and life-saving. So how are these studies that are life-saving? That's kind of the effect of that. Why does it matter that they use live animals? Okay, so I would have to explain, why do I think live animals are necessary for these studies? And then also, how will these animals assist the study? So it says that they will assist the study to prove the safety and efficacy of new medications. I can't just leave it at that. I need to explain how they can prove that. So maybe I look at how live animals, why they're necessary. So maybe it's because like their blood is moving. We need to see how medication works in a live animal. And then we need to use it to prove the safety and efficacy of new medications. So how are these animals going to help prove this? Again, it's that if these animals are alive and these medications they're going to work on live humans, we need to see how it works in a body that's functioning. That's what I need to explain, because my reader is not going to get that from just this quote. The next thing that I need to elaborate on is how do these details prove that animals do not deserve equal human rights? So what will the use of these animals accomplish? Okay? If these are live animals, they're going to hopefully accomplish some sort of research to help humans save their own lives. So these live animals, in this case, or at least in this quote, they helped to find life-saving cancer and HIV research. They helped to save lives through HIV and cancer studies. It was important, it was vital, it was necessary. Okay, so these animals are going to hopefully save human lives. And then we have to look at, how does that prove that they do not deserve equal rights? Well, why can they not have the same rights as humans? Because we need the animals to help save a human life. Okay, we need the animals and their live bodies to test this medication so that we don't just automatically kill human lives, and that we're looking at how do these medications affect animals. So that way we're looking at, okay, if they affect animals in this way, this is probably how they're going to affect humans. So again, the first part of your explanation needs to look at, how do these details prove that animal testing can save human lives? And then how does the information from the quote of how it saves human lives prove that they do not deserve equal rights? So you're always in your explanations first answering, how does this evidence prove the reason? And then how does the evidence and the reason, the details in the evidence and the reason that you've identified, prove your claim and thesis, your overall topic? Okay. For body paragraph 3, it's going to be a little bit different because the first part of it, you're talking about what others will argue. So some people may argue that animals should have equal rights as humans. Your explanation is first for this, when you're addressing the opposing claim, you're going to talk about, why do some people believe this claim? You're not going to want to add too much detail because then you're going to convince people to go on the other side. So just a brief overview of why would some people believe this claim and reason. Then you're going to start transitioning to talk about, why is this claim and evidence faulty? So whatever evidence you have here, poke holes in it. Why would this be a problem? Why could this maybe not be true? Why do we need pretty much prove this wrong, begin to prove it wrong? Then you'll state your reason 3. So some people believe this. This is evidence to prove why they believe this, but this is why it's wrong. Then you're going to say, in fact, it's wrong because, come up with a reason 3, have evidence to prove this evidence wrong, and then explain, how does this quote prove the opposing claim wrong, and how does my rebuttal, or at least the refute, so how does this evidence here, how does it prove that my claim is better than this claim? So how does this quote and evidence prove the opposing claim is wrong and my claim is stronger? So that's what BP3 is going to look like. Another part of your paragraph that is necessary for you to, I guess, develop and to work on are transition statements. You'll notice that in these outlines, there is no space for transition statements, but you still need them. So for BP1 and BP2, you're transitioning to the next paragraph. For body paragraph 3, you're just summarizing your ideas. So what are transition statements? They are statements that pull together totally different ideas. We usually think of them as BP1 reason and BP2 reasons, and that they belong at the end of paragraphs, but you also need transitions in between paragraphs, between your two evidence pieces. Okay, you can't just drop a quote, put a few explanations, drop another quote. You want to link these ideas together. They're both pieces of evidence to prove this. You want to link them together with a sentence. Okay? So for example, if my claim is that all students should use technology in the classroom, maybe one body paragraph reason is that it increases collaboration skills, and the other one is that it provides additional learning resources. These ideas are totally separate. So I need one sentence to pull these together. Even though they're different reasons, we have to pull them together. We need to glue them together. So it might say, while students should use technology in the classroom because it increases collaboration skills, comma, they should also use technology in the classroom because it provides additional learning resources. This transition would go at the end of body paragraph 1 because it links and leads, talks about what we just discussed, and then leads to what my next body paragraph is going to be about. Here's some features of a transition. So there are many kinds that you should use. I would pause the video and read over this because it talks about what kind of phrases you should use to compare and contrast ideas, specifically between body paragraphs, how to add on more explanation and information in your evidence and explanations, how to clarify, so restate your idea again so it makes more sense to your reader, and how to summarize and conclude at the end of your body paragraph and conclusion. So pause the video, look over this, maybe try to work on some transitions.